Lena on
Josephina, what?
button, you push the button, or is it, as they say in the old town and in the old days, Josephina, please no Lena on the bell. When you push, when you mushy, you make a push on the bell.
Oh yeah, making out on the stoop, leaning against the bell.
It's one of those
It's one of those buildings without a doorman.
never get away with today. That should be our album. Songs you'd never get away with today.
You're mushing on the bell. Josephina.
Josephina, please no Lena on the bell. Let's see what else. Push in the bush. Probably would by music would not go today.
It's bubbling under, but it's not going to make the charts.
Yeah, it's not going to make the Mikey and Vinnie top 10 songs that or our album. Music you just wouldn't be acceptable today.
Mikey and Vinnie sing the wrong song at halftime.
It's a tradition in our family.
Well, what Neil Sedaka song could we do at halftime that would entertain the basketball gang?
Let's see. What could we do at Run, Samson, Run?
Possibly. That one does not ring a bell.
I'm thinking running, It Hurts to Be in Love.
There you go. Everyone can relate to that one.
Everyone knows that one. By the way, he's Michael Knight, and he is in the beautiful city of Los Angeles, California.
That's my buddy, New York Vinnie. He's in, Seattle, Washington, where Feller's Garage has been moved temporarily for the weekend. They put the Feller's Garage right there on Mercer Street somewhere, and it's doing land office business, whatever a land office is.
Land office is, is the office where you go to register land, I think.
Or it's a place where the Boeing pilots go to land.
Well, not if they're driving one of those F-37, one of those 737s that seem to always have a little problem staying up in the air.
I didn't say land safely, but just bring it down.
Well, as David Clayton Thomas so eloquently sang,
am I on?
What goes up must come down.
Well, what happened to your Rolls Royce? Did they give you the green light to drive it through the mud?
We're still waiting on the mud part. We have the fest part. The fest is seems to be okay. The mud part is the one that nobody seems to be too sure about if they want us traipsing a $490,000 car through the and granted that it's a it's a put together course. It's not like we're taking it out into the woods. There's no trees that are gonna come from behind and hit it, or however those things happen in the forward. I mean, I just can't. It's hard for me to wrap my head around why anybody would buy a car for part one is why anybody would buy a car for $450,000. But right. Let's say you were that rich.
Let's say you needed that car. You needed it badly.
You needed that car. Let's say you were a part of a Arab oil conglomerate or a Texas gas conglomerate. Why would you buy that car and drive it off road?
You should not. Yeah, you can get a little car to go off road, and you'll be just fine.
You can get yourself a fairly well tricked out electric Hummer for $170,000.
So we're really talking about the end of the world. That's when you would drive your Rolls Royce off road.
Well, I just don't understand why. And I'm going to endeavor to find this out because it's become a question. It's kind of haunted me with these SUVs. And I first asked it really when they came out with the Porsche SUV.
I still don't like that.
Who in their right mind would want to take a Porsche and, traipse it up through the woods and scratch the bottom and do the things that people tend to do to those Ford F-150 pickups that you see with the tires that are taller than you are.
Yeah, that's not a Rolls Royce and it's not a Porsche. In fact, I can't understand why Porsches have 4 doors. It's like someone said, these are beautiful cars, but you know what it needs? More doors. This car needs some more, like let's double the amount of doors and maybe I'll buy one.
Well, I think I can almost justify that. I can say, okay, you've gotten to it. You love your Porsche. You are enamored of your Porsche. Oh my God, you just love this car. But now you have a couple of kids.
And you can't
And
get
you
them in
don't
there.
want to leave the kids at home while you go out and drive your Porsche. Your wife is not going to like that all too much. So
Nope.
get 4 doors, get 2 car seats, and you can
Off you
take the
go.
whole happy family with you.
I remember reading a statistic that Porsches are purchased by a very special group of people, and they are people who already own what kind of car?
A Porsche.
Yep. They
Well,
buy
yeah,
again.
it's a cult.
It's a cult.
For the most part. It's a cult-like thing. Certainly, along with newer Corvette drivers, I think some of the most arrogant people on the road, but they have been blown out of the water by the Tesla drivers.
Yeah. Yeah.
People that drive Teslas now, among the electric car community, I believe, and other driving communities have become despised.
Just for being there.
Just for I mean, you could walk into it blind and willy-nilly. And I don't know if you saw the little thing they had in Texas over the weekend, the Tesla rodeo to open up the Gigafactory down there. But it looked like something out of the Bacchanalia. I mean, it was if you really want to look at the end of the world or the end of the empire, Elon prancing around stage, looking 1 minute, and then the next minute, jumping up and down on, it's kind of eerie.
It's embarrassing to watch.
Yeah, how the people that work for that company and the people that buy the cars of that company seem to do it not because it's a good car, but because it's a club that you want to be a member of.
Yeah.
And that to me is cultish.
It's just too weird. It's not the way to buy a car. I mean, maybe your father drove Chevrolet, so you have to drive a Chevrolet. You don't have to join the club or get the leather jacket, but it's up to you.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about Elon Musk, he's in the news today, strangely enough, because he was going to be on the board of Twitter, and now he's not. He's been de-Twitterified.
He's matter of fact, he and Donald Trump are now right in the same place. They've both been blown out by Twitter.
Yeah. If only it had happened earlier. One of the I know you probably want to mention something about Dwayne Haskins, because Vinnie, if you don't remember, did a lot of good sports radio in Pittsburgh and saw a lot of great quarterbacking go and come. And I just wondered if you thought that Big Ben might come back now.
Well, I don't know that Haskins was going to be. I mean, I'm not close enough to the situation. If our friend Ralph Williams happens to be listening this morning, who is in Pittsburgh, maybe he could give us a little bit more insight into it. I don't know that he was scheduled to be a starter. I know he was scheduled to be a backup. But from what I've read and from what I talked to a couple of people over the weekend, look, anytime you have somebody who is passionate about a sport or passionate about anything, and they're cut down in the prime of their life, not just a football player, but if you're the guy who is 22 years old and sits out on the dock there at Edmonds and paints the ferry every day, he's passionate about it. If he gets hit by a car, I'm sad for him too, because we are losing in our society, I think today, passion for what people like to do.
Now, if what you like to do is cross a freeway in South Florida, my advice is do not do that. Find another passion. Find another something to do.
Right. I don't understand why somebody with intelligence would do something like that. I mean, walk around, call an Uber, ask a friend for. I mean, there's a million things that you probably could have done before. But again, it goes back to, Michael, something we've spoken about many times, is that young athletes, especially, have this thing where they think they're invincible.
Why did the quarterback cross the road? Yeah. Why did the quarterback cross the road?
Because he thought he could.
He thought he could get there. I thought I had it.
So I don't think it puts, I mean, I think technically it doesn't put the Steelers in a tough position, but everybody that you see that has commented on this kid has nothing but good things to say about him, and had nothing but that kind of boy. That's a it's not going to make a difference in the Steelers winning the Super Bowl or not winning the Super Bowl, but
Probably
it's
not.
going to make a difference in the morale of people, the realization, and I think it does it with any team, how precious life is. It's one of the lessons that you have to learn in life.
And you have the Pittsburgh Steelers, despite the problems that they're having and the woeful feelings that they're going through, they have to make a decision on replacing him that could affect their season or seasons to come. And it's a big important decision to make. Hello, Colin Kaepernick.
Well, I think that the plan was, I think there was a quarterback in their drafting future anyway.
Yes.
I don't think that that Haskins was seen as the answer, and the Steelers are looking for an answer.
Well, they don't have one yet, do they?
And I don't think they have an answer. They have, a number of backups. They have, some serviceable guys. They have some guys that you could throw in a game if you needed to. But they don't have a Ben Roethlisberger. They don't have somebody who in 2 years or 3 years would be a Ben Roethlisberger. And so I think that their search will continue when, as the draft is coming up here in the not too distant future. And I think that I've always said this all along, that I think if the Steelers were smart, and they are, I have the utmost respect for Kevin Colbert and his crew, the general manager of the team. If they were smart, that they would draft Kenny Pickett, the kid out of Pitt.
You've said that, and he's definitely on their list. In fact, he was number one that I saw.
Yeah, I mean, if he's there, if there's a way that they can get to him, I also think that the Seahawks should take a long, hard look at him too. If they can, they have a ton of draft picks now, and they need a quarterback as well.
They sure do.
So if I'm both of these teams, oddly enough, whose history seem to be, at least in my world, intertwined with each other.
Yeah, over and over again.
Over and over again, they both find themselves in the same position. But the Seahawks also have to build up defense, and might be willing to forego a quarterback for a year and work with what they have, or bring Colin Kaepernick in and use him and spend their draft picks building up an offensive line.
Get that line settled. You can't win without it. And why? How can you justify waiting at all, even one pick? Because you can't win without it.
Right. I mean, you could have, Tom Brady out there, and if he doesn't have an offensive line, he's going to get his ass kicked, just like the next guy.
Your $95 million quarterback's got a limp. Did you know that?
Yeah. Oh, he didn't when he went out there today. Well, you better go look.
He's got one now. I want to thank Major League Baseball for opening up their pay channels this weekend. I don't know if you saw any games, but I got to see Giants and Miami. Giants winning 2 out of 3.
Yes, I saw the Mets a couple of times. I actually have, as part of the and I don't know if this will make our thousands of listeners run over to T-Mobile right away, but I have T-Mobile. I switched my carriers last year from Verizon, who I had for years and years and years and didn't give me anything except rate increases and crappy service, over to T-Mobile. And T-Mobile has a thing where on Tuesdays, they give you, there's like a bonus every Tuesday, some kind of. So when I signed up, I got I got Apple TV for a year free.
There you go.
Last Tuesday, the bonus was the MLB TV package for the whole year.
Wow, that's a good package.
For free. It's the second time in a row because they're a major sponsor of Major League Baseball. And to which I said, thank you. I mean, that right there, I mean, what do you pay for that package for a year? $150 or something?
It has to be, at least.
Yeah, at least. So I mean, in my case, with the amount of games I like to watch, it's well, for me, it's almost like I get my cell service for free. I mean,
what did you see with the Mets that you liked?
Well, the kid on the kid on Friday that they brought up to pitch. I liked him. I liked seeing Lindor launch one. I liked a couple of questionable moves. Well, we'll talk about what I liked. It was odd seeing Buck Showalter standing in the Mets dugout, but I got to admit that he looks like a manager.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. After all these years, sure.
There were guys as we were coming up that looked like managers. Frank Robinson looked like a manager when he was in the dugout. He was on the top step and he was looking at everything that was going on. He was observing the game. Frank Robinson, Gil Hodges, Joe Torre, Sparky Anderson,
Earl Weaver,
Lou Piniella.
Yep.
I'm trying to Boshi. They all looked like guys who were managers
in charge.
I'm the general. This is the army. And Showalter gave me that impression. As you know, as we've talked about, I'm not a big Buck Showalter fan. I didn't like the idea that they hired him, but there's maybe it's the right guy for the job. Maybe when it's all said and done, it's the right guy for the job. Now, again,
that's a good judgment. I just don't want anyone to say, well, it's still early. Does that mean you lost? Yeah, we lost.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that? I'm okay. We're still early.
Well, Mikey, I should have screenshotted this thing. There was a post yesterday on Facebook that actually had me doubled over laughing. And of course, it came from a Pirates fan.
Now I'm laughing.
And this guy was elated that the Pirates had won a game.
He was over the top. He was off the charts. And he was saying this could be the start of something. This could be this. This team is going to this, that, And I was tempted to write to the guy and say, first of all, put down the crack pipe. Yeah.
Second of all, I don't mean to take away your exuberance over one game because I'm you. I mean, I've done that too. It just gets so exuberant over one game. But the reality is all it means is they're not going to go 0-162.
So far, that's all we can really know.
That's all you got right here, is that we're not going to lose every game this season. With the Pirates, that always stands as somewhat of a possibility.
It's something that they thought about.
Yeah, it's in the plan. Yeah. It's in the what do we do ifs. They have that flip chart that everybody carries in the organization. If we lose 162, is probably the last page, but it's there.
Yeah. Clean out your desk.
Yeah. So, because for the Pirates, and I sadly had come to realize this, that unfortunately winning is not the top priority.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
I don't like the sound of that.
I have enough trouble with it. I have enough trouble with the Giants. My problem with the Giants always is they won 2 out of 3 from Miami, but Miami got a lot of hits. And I think this idea of 17 days of spring training is paying off right now. The batters have the advantage because those pitchers are not there yet. They're just, or the Giants pitchers aren't. And we won 2 out of 3. I can't complain. I can't squeak. But it was It was a display of the least amount of offense possible to win a game, and that's not how I like to see the game proceed. I need a couple more dingers. I need something big. And one bit of good news for the Giants. No one has heard of this kid unless you're a Giants fan. Heliod Ramos. His first name Heliot. Heliod Ramos played center field and left field. And in his first 2 times up as a major leaguer, he got hits, not home runs, hits, and scored runs. So that's quite an achievement for a young player coming to the bigs, starting off in Sacramento, coming to the bigs, getting a shot in left field, and getting a hit your first 2 times up. It bodes well for his future.
Well, yeah, and again, it's early. I mean, I'll say it now, so that you.
Now it's still early.
We do get it out of the way. The one thing that really bothered me, I guess, about watching baseball this weekend was the designated hitter in the National League. I mean, it just doesn't feel right to me.
Well, on opening day, the Giants go to 10 innings. And what do you think I had to watch? I had to watch the Smokey Burgess rule in play with a Miami guy who didn't get a hit standing in at second base. And
I thought they had gotten rid of that. I thought that was done.
It's back, Vin. It is back. I saw it in action. In the 10th inning, Smokey Burgess was on second base for Miami. And he did not score.
I was absolutely under the impression that was done, that was the 2-year pandemic thing, and that's gone.
You know what? I felt the same way. I thought that I had understood that it was gone. And the commissioner of baseball brought it back like 2 days before opening day. And it came in very quietly, like an ugly stepchild.
What an absolute what a shame.
And when you're trying to win a game on opening day and they do the Smokey Burgess rule, it just takes the gas out of the game. It's like you're starting the 10th inning. All is right with the world. No, it ain't. There's a man at second.
What an absolute shame. Hey, so an old friend of yours on Saturday, I believe.
Biff Jiggerman?
No, better.
It would have to be better than Biff.
How about Sergio Romo?
Oh, okay.
He's toiling for the Seattle Mariners these days.
Can you still bring it?
Well, he brought it. When did he pitch? On Saturday or Saturday, I think he pitched. And yeah, he struck somebody out. He pitched an inning. I think he had a couple of ground ball outs. He struck somebody out. Got out, boom.
Good.
Well, no errors.
I wish him and all of his teammates with the Mariners the very best of baseball for this year. Sergio Romo is a champion. And how many guys can say that on that team? He's a world champion and he's a toiler. He earned his ring. He did. Some guys ride along in the bullpen, and that's okay. That's baseball.
Yeah.
But he toiled and made a big difference.
No, I like him. I think he's going to be a good, even at 39 years old, he's still a guy that can bring it. He reminds me a little bit of guys like that they had in the bullpen in the past, like Norm Charlton and, guys that have an oomph about him.
No, he's got oomph. He's a little guy, but he's got lots of oomph.
Yeah, no, he's 5'11" on a good day if he stands up straight. But you're right, he's a stud.
When the wind's blowing out to center, he's 5'11". And he's got something that not many guys on the team have, speaking of the Mariners, and that is he's not just been to the show, but he's been to the big show. He's gone to the top and won. And when you carry that with you and you got that ring in your suitcase, you know how to play baseball a little bit differently than somebody who's played his whole career but never been to the World Series.
Yeah, I think that I like the makeup of the Mariners this year. Although I saw something in one of the games with the Mariners, I think it was Saturday's game, that impressed me. I saw the manager use the safety squeeze. which I am always a fan of. You know, the
Oh,
safety squeeze, the suicide squeeze. I'm a fan of somebody laying down a bunt.
hey, if you want the third and third baseman to have myocardial infarctions at the same time, put down a safety squeeze because all they can think of is there's 10 things that can go wrong here, and I'm going to be the dog. I'll be a dog. I'll be a goat.
Which actually happened to Pete Alonso on Saturday, I think it was. I get my day. I watch so much baseball, freaking. I kind of get my days confused. But Pete Alonso, the Marlins pulled a not the Marlins. What,
The Mariners.
yeah, they pulled a on the Mets. They pulled a suicide. They pulled not a suicide squeeze, but a little bunt, a little too hard though. Alonso comes in, grabs the ball, runner on third, runner goes, and he underhands the ball to the catcher instead of throwing it. And by underhanding it, the ball goes up in the air. The catcher has to go up for it, comes down and misses the tag.
Ooh.
You know, clearly just a brain fart for Alonso. So what you're saying is exactly right. It throws you off.
Yep, it does throw you off. And that's the type of play that I would like to think that pitchers work on in spring training, or infielders do. But now we're playing the game without spring training. So the first thing to suffer from that omission is the basics and the fundamentals.
Well, I always think that you could have all of the training and everything you want, but sometimes your brain just doesn't work.
Right. Oh yeah.
Sometimes your brain just goes and it's not there. And you have to,
yes, the pitcher refers to his brain, but the brain's not there at that moment. He's away from his desk.
And it happens so many times that they actually have a slot on the scoreboard for it.
Yeah, yes, they do. And the Giants committed 4 errors this weekend, and that was kind of ugly to see.
Well, I mean, they're playing the Marlins, so what do you expect?
I expect them not to have 4 errors.
The Marlins are already.
Marlins can hit. The Marlins have a young, dynamic team. They're far more dangerous than I expected, and they got a lot of hits. In fact, in the game that they lost yesterday, they had twice the hits of the Giants, but the Giants had the runs.
Right.
And the Giants' long ball has been paying off. But Marlins are no joke.
By the way, the Mets played Washington. I couldn't. It took me a second to remember. Listen, they won. They out of 4 games, they beat them 3. The Mets did, so I'll take that.
You have to take that.
I'll take that. I don't think there were any. I think everybody lost one game at least. Yeah, there's no one. Oh yeah, no, Tampa Bay is 3-0. I'm sorry.
But they played 1 fewer games because everybody else, for instance, San Diego's in first place in the West National League, and they're 3-1.
Well, there was in their infinite wisdom, Major League Baseball made sure that some of these games were in places that would almost always have bad weather.
Yeah,
in the first week of April. You know that Safeco Field has a retractable roof. In the last 10 years, no more than that, I think it's the last 15 years, if I'm not mistaken, they've only played 3 season openers in Safeco Field.
Wow.
Even though it has the roof. Remember, a long time ago, Major League Baseball used to schedule games, in places that weren't cold or where there wasn't a big possibility of rain. You had, the southern cities, Atlanta, Texas, Southern California.
And yet Miami opens on the road in San Francisco. That's weird.
Well, not as weird those opening in Chicago or not as weird as opening in St. Louis, where you're almost guaranteed that it's going to be cold weather.
Twin Cities with an outdoor ballpark. Makes me want to wear a baklava.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous, but the fact that you're telling me that this rule is still in baseball,
Oh, it's here.
this designated runner rule, is I'm disgusted.
It's such an arbitrary pissant rule. It's such a ridiculous way to play the game. Hey, we're going to give you guys a man on second. Well, why don't you do that every inning? Then we can just play 5 innings and go home.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
understand. It's ugly. It's ugly for the game.
yeah, and I don't know if they're doing this. I don't know if Rob Manfred is doing this just to piss me off, or if
He likes to piss you off.
or if there's a greater. And I mean, I'm actually now starting to get to the point where I don't get as pissed off about it anymore. What I do is I go to YouTube and I find some kind of educational video and I watch that. And I don't pay as much attention to the game. Opening day, I pay attention to if one of my teams are on. I'll pay more attention to it. But that passion for watching any game at any time, I would rather go watch my nephew's little league game,
yes,
or high school game, where they don't put a runner on second base,
or that great 4th grade documentary, Our Mr. Sun.
Yeah, I just you get to a point where you're going to relegate this sport to a niche. You're gonna, if you keep going on this road that you're going on, you'll be playing. It'll look like the middle '60s again, where you played the half empty stadiums.
When they started wearing pajamas in Cincinnati,
right? They thought that would bring the people in. Start wearing as ugly a uniform as you can find.
Giants have got one. Giants
in double knits.
Oh God.
Well, I saw they had, I don't know what the reason for it was, but the Senators, the Nats, came up with this really, let me see if I can find a picture of this. Did you happen to see the uniform jersey that they were wearing?
Was it blue and red?
It had elements of pink, and it might have been maybe a breast cancer awareness uniform, but it was very possibly the ugliest uniform. It may have eclipsed all of the other uniforms ever used in the game, including those idiotic turn ahead the clock night.
Turn ahead the clock, yeah.
Maybe they used to have to turn back, and then somebody said, well, maybe we ought to turn back and see what the uniforms of the future will look like. And it was truly
a terrible mistake.
Yeah, it was truly a horrible looking uniform. And I really hope, I just hope that, I mean, what's sad about it is that the Washington Nationals uniform for a new team, which they're not really a new team, but
they're rather new,
reconfigured, took tradition. They went with the W of the old Senators. They went with the red, white, and blue of the Expos. The team which they were before, in case anybody hadn't been watching. So these uniforms that they traditionally wear, even the softball jersey looking ones, they have the traditional script across the chest on the road uniforms that say Washington.
Right.
I mean, they use a regular home white and a road gray, and then like the kind of the colored jersey, the red. I mean, it works. The logo is great. It's simple. It all works.
Then they messed it up.
And then let's see if I can make this come alive here on our
I do hate ugly uniforms. Is this going to nauseate me?
It might, Mikey.
Yeah. Or as they used to say in Miami, oh, I'm nauseous.
Let's see. Let's see if I can get this to no time like the present to learn how to use the
tools of our trade.
The tools. Well, this isn't really the. Okay, can you see this?
Nope. I see you and I see me. Now I see it. WSH.
Yeah.
Is it gray?
It's gray with pink. And what you can't see or not see too clearly is look over to the bottom right of the jersey. There are flowers on it.
Huh. What in the world for?
Now, again, if it's breast cancer awareness that we're talking about here, I can understand the pink. I've learned to live with the pink uniforms or the ribbons or whatever they use.
Does it have to do with the cherry blossoms in Washington?
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is the cherry blossoms. I'm sorry we don't create special uniforms for the freaking cherry blossoms.
Yeah. Well, we can't honor the Senate or the House of Representatives because they're full of yahoos. So we're just gonna have to be nice to a tree. It was a good tree. It meant well. It always meant well.
I'm sorry, but the only reason they made this jersey, and we know that, is what do you call it? Helmets, gray helmets, is solely to sell some at the the concessions.
What they want to do. Going to sell some, baby.
Right, because
see at the team store.
Yeah, some douchebag will go and buy 5 of these for his whole family, so that they can all go to the company picnic together in a baseball jersey with flowers on it.
That would be very difficult for me to witness in person.
It's just yeah, I'm going to try this now. Let's see. So you can see him right there.
Yep.
And you can also see Nelson Cruz's face when he realizes that he's getting his picture taken with this bone-ass ugly uniform on.
He's beside himself with doubt.
And of course, you can see the Mets fan in the crowd right there.
Hey, let's go Mets. And I'm not going to tell you again.
I just thought I'd try that, Mike. I never
Of course, in Washington, they don't say let's go Mets. They say, hey, Met, let's go. Come on.
In Washington, they say, you a Mets fan? Yeah. Put up your hands.
We're not taking any Mets fans today. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry. We're okay. Let's see if we can stop the share. And there we are.
We're back. Right? Well done, Ben. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, they were ugly, but they were not as ugly as I thought. Not as ugly as the Giants city jersey.
I didn't mind that jersey all that much. And it's only because I guess I like the city.
Well, it just deserves a light creamsicle orange on white is just a stupid look for the Giants. They have traditionally beautiful uniforms. They don't need that crap, and there they are. There they are before my eyes. Everyone said there was a posting on Facebook. What do you think of the uniforms? They're back again this year. And I said they were ghastly shite.
Yeah,
I'm very proud of that.
Listen, I like uniforms. I like interesting takes on uniforms. Maybe I'm just an old guy, but I like my tradition, in baseball and in football. Basketball, if you want to mess with the uniforms, go ahead and mess with them. It doesn't bother me that much.
But the traditional guys, do the New York Knicks need somebody to mess with their uniform after all these years?
Yeah, they do. So do the Warriors. Look at how many uniforms in colors do the Warriors have?
They got plenty. They have
one of the great basketball uniforms of all time.
The city with the cable car.
Right, with the the number in the
right
on the cable car. It's in the city, you know what they're talking about. Nobody has to tell you what city it is.
Nope, not necessary.
If you're from there, or if you ever read Herb Cain's column, you know what he's talking about. But yet
He's talking about a little slice of heaven.
these clowns figure that they need to educate you.
It's another low time for radio, Vinny. iHeartMedia decided they wanted to do something for Ukraine. So they are offering, and I read the press release very carefully, iHeartMedia stands up for Ukraine. They have joined forces. They seek everyone to join them and mobilize. They want listeners, employees, musicians, and anyone involved with iHeartMedia to mobilize the urgent need. They never spend a dime. They don't intend to spend a dime. They're mobilizing the need, and they're joining forces with people who haven't got a dime either. And that's their response to stand up for Ukraine. They're going to stand up and do absolutely nothing. It's like the top of the hour announcement from any iHeartMedia piece of shit station. We got nothing over here. Please listen.
Well,
that would be like the Red Cross coming to the thing and say, we're here. We don't have an ambulance. We don't have bandages. We don't even have water. But we're mobilizing the effort to get you something here. We're encouraging everyone to join us.
Well, I normally applaud anything that anybody can do. If you can figure out a way to bring awareness to it, and maybe that's what their big contribution is. If you can make more people think about it, if you can make more people who might not normally think about it, then you've accomplished something. And whether it's iHeart or whoever it is that does it, if it makes one or two people who might not be aware of what's going on, be aware for it, then God bless them. At least they're, my problem with them is not that they are trying to raise money or trying to do something for Ukraine. My problem with iHeart is simply that if there's a tornado rolling through your town and you got 4 iHeart radio stations, you're not going to know about it until the iHeart tower comes crashing through your physical heart, your body.
Goes right through.
Nobody's there to tell you about it.
Their heart kills your heart.
That's my problem with all of these. And I really hope that, I pray, Michael, that President Biden and the Federal Communications Commission, they're kind of busy with other things right now, but I hope that in the coming months or year or so, that they look at this ownership and they reverse this absolutely horrible thing that was done in the Clinton administration of allowing all of the, so few companies to own so many radio stations. We need to go back to the philosophy that radio is a public service and that there should be some kind of public service, public responsibility attached to every radio station.
The license used to be contingent on the fact that you serve the public,
right?
Not make money, not hire the best disc jockeys, that you serve the public with your product.
And that they bring back things like local news and equal time, and all of these different things that were taken away. For what reason, I don't know. So the big radio corporate owners could make more money and contribute more money to political campaigns.
Well, you can pay more money now to your market manager because you don't need a general manager. One guy can run 5 stations just as badly as one guy can run 1. But the most successful stations were run by one guy, maybe an AM and FM, but it was run by crack troops who knew their market.
How awesome would it be? And I know that a lot of people when we talk about radio go, but I also know a lot of people that listen to us do care about radio because they grew up with it. How awesome would it be that in every town there was a radio station where the people that worked there actually were in the town, that they were on at least live at least 16 hours a day or 14 hours or 12 hours a day, sun up to sundown at least. And that the ads on the radio station were not for dick extenders or testosterone pills.
Hey, Frank Rock, the Big Hurt wants to sell those testosterone pills.
Yeah, or but the ad was for Lawson's Drugstore, right, or Tommy's Auto Repair.
Feller's Garage.
and Fellows Garage, and maybe on a Friday night you turned on and it wasn't somebody yapping and flapping about uh, some hateful talk or this person, that person. Maybe you turned the radio on a Friday night and there was the high school football game or the baseball game or things that we've lost. And I know people say, well, you can do that on the internet now.
But
Yeah, you can, but the internet is not licensed as a public service. The internet is not licensed as, the internet does not belong to all of us. Radio is supposed to belong to all of us.
And plus, just because you got the news from the internet doesn't mean you got the story right if there's an earthquake.
Right. But to go back to that model where radio stations will, now, one of the great loves of my life, Michael, was to drive through across country and have an AM only radio in the car and just hit the buttons as you went through a twisted dial as you went across America. And you would hear everything from rock and roll to news, not news talk, but news, to talk, to some form of local talk, to the Saturday morning, what was the trader shows?
Swap meet.
Yeah, the swap meet shows, which I used to find fascinating.
We used to do that on KTIM.
And we did it on, where did we do it? Was it on Cairo? Maybe it was whatever the buzz was there, 100, the FM Cairo. Maybe we did it on there for a while. But those stations, the unique formats, the guy who got up at 4:00 in the morning and did the hog reports,
Pinky Brown,
the farmers reports,
Pinky Brown Farmer Report.
That was radio, man. That's what it, and not from and I'm not talking about this from a nostalgic point of view.
No, the farmers listened every morning.
I'm talking right. Who was the? Oh man, I'm trying to think now. It was Ray Taliaferro. Remember Ray Taliaferro?
All nights on KGO.
Who had the farmer in Petaluma? Who used to listen? He put the radio in the thing and he milked the cows. And he said that the cows gave more milk when he was listening to Ray Taliaferro.
What are you going to do? They liked Ray.
They liked Ray. He was a leftist, just short of a socialist, but they liked Ray.
And he was the one who concluded the show by saying, and enjoy the rest of your broadcast day.
Yeah.
Didn't he say that?
And he did that great thing on New Year's Eve where he would throw out the format and play like 6 hours of jazz of his favorite. You have the Bart Parlocha and some of those guys from K-Jazz come in.
Yeah.
And bring their records, and they'd sit there for 6 hours and play great jazz music. Unfortunately,
that was a station full of personalities.
Yeah, unfortunately, he met a sad demise. But
in the Caribbean.
What? No, it wasn't in the Caribbean, or I thought it was like in South Carolina or something. Anyway,
maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
Taliaferro was a great radio, even if we didn't agree with what he said. But that's the kind of thing you got in local radio. You didn't get some guy sitting in his home studio in Greenville, South Carolina, shouting out hate to all corners of the country. You got him, or you got Bill Wattenberg.
God.
Who knew the answer to everything.
And he even knew the question to everything.
Yeah, you couldn't throw a fastball by Bill Wattenberg.
No.
This is the guy that invented, what was his big invention? He invented many things, but his big invention was, and I don't know how in the world everybody missed this, he didn't. He invented the sweeper for when we invaded, when you had Desert Storm. where they would tie chains to the back of an airplane or a helicopter, and they would run that through a field
Oh, for mines.
for mines. So it would blow the mines up, saving countless lives.
Huh.
And all it was is a bunch of tow chain.
We're going to need that again, aren't we?
Yeah, probably. And we're probably going to need it for like places like New York and Chicago.
I was thinking the Russians have a new general that they brought in. They call him the butcher of Syria. And I wondered, did there ever, during the Vietnam War, were there playing cards for generals? General Westmoreland and the other guys, and you could trade your generals and work them up and keep track of your leaders. Oh, that guy got fragged. That general's down.
Boy, I sure do remember some kind. Maybe it was GI Joe cards, or I kind of vaguely remember some kind of military trading card.
It seems like it happened. Anyway, if anybody deserves a playing card, it's the butcher of Syria.
Yes, I'm looking at for $49.95 on eBay. You can get the 1991 Desert Storm War collectible card set.
There you go, Desert Storm.
And let's see what we have here.
You've been to Kuwait, but do you have the cards? Have you got the
Yes,
Ginsu
you have to
knives?
have the cards. $49.95, Mikey. You can get your own set.
And all those generals missed this war, so they're out of contention.
Yeah,
Maybe some of them are teaching the art of war.
Well, most of them, I think, are probably. I mean, Powell's gone. Schwarzkopf is gone.
Yep.
Certainly, all the Vietnam generals are gone by now.
Yep. Some of them are on TV advising us on what every military move means in Ukraine.
Yeah, it's funny. All of the generals we have now are generals from wars that we really didn't win.
We weren't exactly batting 395.
You know, when Patton came on television and told you that we were going to win a war, God damn it.
And of course, he didn't care who died to win that war. That was his,
right in Russia.
His strength was, you're going to die, and I'm going to be awarded some sort of a medal. Yeah. Vinnie, my computer's telling me it's going to shut down now. I wish it won't, but it says it's going to, so I'm going to have to say goodbye.
Okay.
Just so I don't get cut off in the middle of everything.
All right, don't get cut off in the middle of everything, Mikey. We will meet up again on Wednesday. Go out and get your Desert Storm War collectible card set, will you?
I want them all, and I'll be trading with you on Wednesday.
All right, Mikey. Listen, take care of yourself. Thank you all for listening, and we will catch up with you on Wednesday if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. Mikey, peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby.
See you, Vinnie. What a wine.